A Norwegian farmer who watched something hover above his field in 1982 was asked, decades later, whether it still unsettled him. He was quiet. Then he said, "You stop being unsettled. You start wondering what they have been looking at." Welcome to Untold Lores, What Remains in the Valley, Part 4 of 4. The Hessdalen Valley is still there, the lights are still there. The automated monitoring station continues to record. As of the most recent published research, the phenomena remain active and remain unclassified by any accepted scientific framework. No government has formally investigated the Hessdalen lights with the resources committed to, for example, the United States government's UAP task force. No international body has launched a coordinated investigation. The research has been conducted by a small network of independent scientists, most of them working outside the framework of government funding, relying on institutional support that has been intermittent and limited. This is perhaps the most quietly unsettling fact in the entire Hessdalen record, the most comprehensively documented unexplained aerial phenomenon in history has received the least proportionate institutional attention of any comparable case. In 2019, a joint Italian-Norwegian research team published a new analysis of the Hessdalen data that introduced a hypothesis. The hypothesis proposed that the lights might be a form of naturally occurring plasma, a body of ionized gas, formed by unusual geological and atmospheric conditions specific to the valley. The valley sits above a geological fault line. The rock beneath the valley contains high concentrations of sulfide minerals. These minerals, under certain conditions, can produce piezoelectric effects, mechanical stress generating electrical charge. And under the right atmospheric conditions, this could theoretically produce luminous ionized gas bodies. The hypothesis is the most scientifically credible natural explanation produced to date. It would account for the luminous appearance of the objects. It would account for some of the electromagnetic readings. It might explain the magnetometer anomalies. But it does not explain the radar cross-section recorded by the EMBLA team. Plasma is ionized gas. Ionized gas at the temperatures and densities consistent with the observed luminosity does not produce a radar return consistent with a solid metallic structure. That finding has not been addressed by the plasma hypothesis. It does not explain the Doppler velocity of 30,000 km per hour. Natural plasma bodies produced by geological and atmospheric processes do not achieve that velocity. It does not explain the secondary signal embedded within the primary radio frequency recording. Plasma does not emit structured, mathematically regular radio signals. It does not emit a coherent embedded secondary signal at a non-harmonic frequency ratio. The plasma hypothesis explains some of what was recorded. It does not explain what the instruments confirmed on the specific occasions that produced the most anomalous data. The valley has been returned to. It continues to be studied. Project Hessdalen itself, in its collaborative form, has published ongoing updates. Researchers at Untold University College maintain the automated station and continue to analyze its output. The dataset grows every year. Every year it produces observations that fit no category. Residents of the valley have continued to observe the lights in the decades since the original 1984 campaign. Some speak openly about what they have seen. Some do not speak about it at all anymore. Jarn Lillevold, the farmer who watched the hovering object above his field in January 1982, lived in the valley until his death. In an interview conducted years after the initial sightings, he was asked whether the lights still appeared near his property. He said yes. He was asked whether it still unsettled him after so many years. He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "You stop being unsettled. You start wondering what they have been looking at." The question he was asking, in the careful phrasing of a man who had watched something in the sky above his land for decades, is the same question the data asks. Hessdalen is not a mystery about whether the lights are real. The instruments resolved that question in 1984. Hessdalen is a mystery about what they are. It is a mystery about why something physical, measurable, and structured has been present in a Norwegian valley since at least 1981, and continues to be present today. It is a mystery about why a coherent radio signal of unknown origin was recorded inside another signal of unknown origin in a remote valley in winter. It is a mystery about why light can have a radar cross-section. It is a mystery about what is moving through that valley at 30,000 kilometers per hour. The automated station is recording tonight. The instruments are running. And somewhere above the dark ridgelines of Hessdalen, over pine trees and snow and a valley where fewer than 150 people live, something is moving through the sky. Something that has been there for more than 40 years. Something that the instruments have measured, and the photographs have captured, and the radar has tracked, and the spectrographs have read, and the radio analyzers have recorded. Something that every scientist who has looked at the data has confirmed is real. Something that not one of them has been able to explain. That's it for part 4. Follow Untold Lores for part 1 of our next story. Like and subscribe for daily stories.